Computer. All right, welcome everyone. Welcome to the Forge Coffee Break, episode number 35. Welcome, thank you for joining today. As usual, this is a very open space for any general questions that you have, general topics that you want to talk on Forge. And it's open. You can bring your ideas, bring your questions. It's pretty much like a coffee break. And let me start with you. If you have any topics, any questions that you want to bring up, just open your microphone and go ahead. And today, just one point, today we have a special guest. Maduka will be showing us some cool stuff. But no, just before that, let me open to you if you have any interesting questions. See a few new names that I haven't seen before. So, okay, no questions. So if no questions, let me show you a few interesting things that we've been working with. And I think last week we did talk about the new Takeoff API, right? So that's new. We also have now a few samples on the Takeoff API, which are quite interesting. Let me quickly just point them out here. So if you go to the blog, the samples are there. Anyone using Takeoff or planning to use that API? And hope that you can hear me okay. Or everyone is just very quiet today, which is okay. You probably need your coffee as well. So
Hello, Augusto.
Oh, hi.
Hi. Sorry, I was on mute and talking to myself actually.
No problem.
Yeah, I had a chance to work with a company called BAMCore. So I think that happened in May of 2021. So they were involved in they were actually building a prefabricated they were building on top of Forge API for a prefabricated unit they were designing using bamboo. So for example, they just had a portion of that the room coming in, and they kind of tweaked the values so they can expand the sizes of the doors or the windows and work with other disciplines. So I was involved in the beginning of that project. So just out of curiosity, I want to learn a little more on what's happening on the Ford side, which is why I wanted to join.
Okay, interesting. So you said that you want to learn more here, or what or in general?
In general, like what's happening on the Ford side, because there was a lot of information during AU, and
Yes.
everything. The focus like last year was on the cloud, and this year it was more on the data part. So I really want to know what's happening on this side of the world. Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense. So usually the blog is a very good place, but there is this recap from AU. And I believe here we have links to the lightning talks and the roadmaps and the keynotes. If you'd like a place to start, I would suggest the keynotes, and because they're very high level. And we also have the roadmap classes here with specific topics on specific APIs, but no, they are what's going to happen with that specific service, right? And here the hackathon. So the week before the AU, we had this hackathon week-long event, right? And a lot of teams, they created very interesting projects. So it's just to see what else can be possible with Forge when and the hackathon is a very good place for that. So yeah, if you're looking for specific things, those classes will be nice. This space here is really to keep up to date. So every other week we have this time to discuss and present and ask what we're working with. So yeah, thank you for joining.
Augusto, awesome. I thought I'd jump in and maybe spend 2 minutes kind of addressing Viveka's specific interest. And I bring it up because I probably have seen 10 of these now.
Okay.
Yeah, a little bit about Bamcor. Yeah, they're doing these prefabricated bamboo panels. High sustainability, bamboo grows fast, highly sustainable, and the panels are much stiffer. They're like inch-thick bamboo plywood. So you don't need to have studs, structural elements every half a meter, every 16 inches. So there's much less energy. Their walls are much more efficient in terms of holding in energy, holding in heat, cooling, whatever. So they have an application that includes, it's a Revit plugin you run on your desktop. So it takes the architectural design of a house. And typically they do a lot of multifamily, 2-3 story kind of stuff, and converts that Revit model into their panelization system. Their panels are 4 feet wide and they can be, 8 or 10 feet high. It does a whole lot more. It helps people lay out, services, electrical, plumbing. They actually print the electrical and plumbing details on the bamboo panels, so the people doing the installing the systems know exactly what to do without actually having to look at a drawing. Now with Forge, what they're doing is they're presenting all this information that's been designed in Revit to people on the factory floor where they're fabricating the panels. And to people who are doing the loading pallets, loading trucks, unloading trucks, doing assembly on site. And that's where they're using mobile devices. They're using Forge model derivative. They're using the Forge viewer. Again, it's very much about getting away from having to create drawings. Creating drawings is expensive. Creating drawings means if you have to make a last minute change, you have to worry about who's got what drawing and who's got the right version. So they're driving into this area pretty hard. Yeah. Now, when you ask about Bamcor, and most people think, well, that's about housing. You may be thinking about housing configurators, because I got a few people who are going down this path, and I think every large builder of custom housing is going down this path. They need to build an online configurator where customers can kind of pick a model, change the number of rooms, make the garage bigger, move some floors around. Now the poster child for that, or the beginning of that, is one of our partners who built an application called ShedMate. And this is a group in Australia where you can go online and design a shed. And there's an AU class on this, and there's kind of videos up on the up in YouTube that you can go look at, where they design a shed kind of live, where they're using design automation for Revit in the background. They're capturing the data through the web experience. And then in the background, design automation for Revit is building the model. So that's both for kind of, be able to do kind of high quality rendering, to create the sheets, because they are doing some of this with drawings.
Can I share the screen, Augusto?
Yeah, to create the quotes. So they're creating a whole custom experience. Now, ShedMate, it's for a shed, right? Kind of a warehouse kind of thing. But there's a partner in the UK, or is it Ireland? Opoplan, who's looking to do this for complete houses. We've got partners in Northern Europe. I know 2 here in the US. I know 1 in Asia. All who see the vision of delivering a home design configurator that I can use. Somebody who doesn't know anything about Revit, and because we're all getting used to this kind of consumer kind of lightweight configuration. But can you do serious design on a web page and make it easy for a consumer to deal with? I want bigger windows. I want a bigger room, So opportunity there. Yeah, Forge is kind of a piece of all of this, whether it's part of the user interface or whether it's, cranking out models and drawings and renderings and all the details you need to feed a factory to do prefab of a lot of this content. And it's a little bit cutting edge, trying to get the kind of near real-time feedback consumers expect while doing detailed design in the back, in the back by the design automation bot, so to speak. And I think, so maybe, Viveka, you're going to get pulled into this. I know a few partners who are trying to figure out how far they can go, how fast they can go in this area. Because I'm convinced in 5 years, you want a new house, you're going to go to a web page. That's how you're going to do it.
Yeah, I think we should take this conversation offline, Jim. I would love to, collaborate.
Yeah. I just bring out, there's a few people here, there's opportunity here. Every major builder of houses needs to go do this. I think it's going to be 5 years from now, it's going to look antiquated to think you had to sit down with someone 2 or 3 times and you couldn't make changes because it was too late. And, that's all going to go away. And I can see Augusto smiling because he needs to buy a bigger house for his growing family. And he's looking forward to this.
Having a better experience, right? That would be nice.
Absolutely.
Cool. Thank you, Jim. Thank you. And thank you, Vivek, for the great question. That was a lot of interesting topics. So let me switch for a moment, just because we are halfway through. Nejelko, right? You asked us to present a little bit about Node-RED, and I invited Madhukar to present to us. And here, are you there?
Yeah, I'm there.
Go ahead. So take control. You can share your screen.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Okay, we have created Node-RED. I'll give a brief introduction on what Node-RED, and we have developed certain nodes on top of this Node-RED platform. Node-RED is very famous among the hobbyist people who tinker with IoT, connecting with sensors, home automation, home assistant applications. It's a very easy tool, and Node-RED comes with the visualist programming. And people who are like shy from actual programming and they want to tinker with some idea, and Node-RED is a good platform to connect with multiple Internet of Things. You can, if certain thing is not there, you can always write an application and upload it onto the Node-RED platform. It's very easy to install. Just go to the Node-RED and do, all you need is npm and node. You can follow the instructions. It has both Linux and Windows, so it should not take much time. Once you install Node-RED, we will see what can we do with Node-RED. So we have developed the Node-RED Forge for all the APIs. The Forge has an umbrella of APIs like object storage services, data management, model derivative, design automation. So all these API families we have created individual nodes for these families. So once you install the Node-RED, you will be seeing something called like this. So it creates a directory in your user folder, and it's completely npm package. So you can see it has a package.json. If you look at, I have installed on top of Node-RED other auxiliary nodes which I'll be using in my sample. So one is loop processing, reading the directory, LED, dashboard, and base64. And you can also install many, and those flows are available on Node-RED. So our interest here is, once you install the Node-RED, you have to install Node-RED Force. I'll show how you can install this. So basically, let's start this. So I have already installed the Node-RED. It's right here. Actually, git clone it, but you can also do npm Node-RED -g global. So let me run. These are the I need Force client and site secret. The good way is to store it in the environmental variables instead of giving directly into a dashboard. So let me So I'm just building it. And so when you install a Node-RED, it creates a settings script. So you can change it or you can leave it as it is. So the important things which we will be changing is the port. By default, the port will be 1880, but all Forge samples you follow 3000 ports. So I made it 3000. And UA host, this is the domain which our dashboard will be live. So by default, it will be 127, not 1, but we can we change it to localhost. These are the two things which I have changed. But you can also change many things. There are many other variables that can be changed. You can even give credentials. If you want to access a file from other origin, you can enable this node calls. And even if you want to play around with the Express, you can also use this middleware. So these are some of the settings which have. Let me close this. So I think the build is completed. Let me run this. So now it's starting the red.js. It's the main core file of the Node-RED. So the flow is on 3000. Let me open. Okay, this is the Node-RED dashboard. Now, to begin with, when you launch Node-RED, you will get the walk-in banners guiding to what each groups do. So if you look at since we installed the Forge node, it comes up. You can also type Forge. If you have many node groups, you keep it like this. And if you want to install any other third-party nodes, we come to the manage palette and go to the install and type here. To find the nodes, you can go here and you can search. Suppose if you want to find the node for reading the directory, I can just this is not the way I generally search. I generally go with Node-RED reading the directory. So you can go here and you can copy this through command line, or you can copy this and search here. You'll get it. These are some of the nodes which I have already installed. You can see the node Forge. This is the 7th version of the node Forge, and dashboard URL, read directory, and loop processing. So now we want to basically what this node is, how it will help you. Will go with something. This is the inject or a timestamp. We need to initiate a flow. So the basic things are the two nodes we need: an inject and a debug. So we can connect this. It has something called timestamp. You can change it to any of these, like as a JSON or timestamp expression or environment variable. So if you want to use something this, I can. So now you can see there is a blue circles on the nodes. It says that the nodes are updated, but they are not deployed. And I can also put change payload to complete message object. So when I click on deploy, now these nodes are deployed, and we can see the messages that has been injected. When I click on this, like you can see the topic, you can see the payload. Hello, what's called. You can also play around with the different things. There are many other, like you can also use the timestamp expression, environment variable. Suppose if I want to put environment variable, deploy it again. So you'll get my client ID. This is my client ID because I have already stored in the environment variable, which this node-RED will take to the process. So if you want to use environment variable. So let's remove this. Now, once you install the Forge node, you can come to import. You can go to the examples and you can see there are many examples. And most this three-legged and other samples are discussed here. So I will not bore you with the same repetition. We will go with something a viewer thing which is not there, which is not present. So we will go with the viewer. So what I'll do, I will go with a very simple because there are samples which are very big. So let me go to the viewer flow sample. When I import, we'll get this. The important thing is first we need to have the credentials, and this is the credential common across all the flows. So these credentials will be applicable to the entire this node-RED session. Means if you have multiple flows, you can credentials can be distributed among them. So let me write something like and the scopes. For these scopes, I will be needing till bucket delete. Yeah, I don't need Forge callback URL because we are not dealing with any of the three-legged auth. But eventually, if you are dealing with three-leg auth, you may need Forge callback URL as well. So let me add this. Done. We have something called hook model, which we will. We would like to. The objective of this flow is we will put this hook a step file. I have chosen step file because it will take a super tiny fraction of time to translate it and view. This hook, the step file, we will be uploading to the bucket, and we will view it. And local file name, the path should be related to the node-RED, but you can also give the hardcode path. If you look at
Varun, just a quick time check. We are like 5 minutes before the end. So
okay, so let me go ahead. Okay, so the file can be hard-coded, full path or relative. So let me fix this. Give the credentials. I go with this. Okay. Okay, you can see there are cones on the nodes. This cones indicates that the node is incorrect. So we are missing something. Come here, edit the subflow. Again, subflows are the collection of nodes that can be combined into create another flow which can be used in your node graph. So this is the node graph. We call this as a node graph. So we need a token. So looks everything is fine. Let me deploy this. Okay, then let me run this. So it says a bucket already exists, so it's conflicting. So it's okay. We will ignore that since bucket is already existing. We will put that object hook, and we are getting the values. Object key and URL. Next thing is we would like to view the model. For that we need to translate it. So I have written a function where we can construct a URL based on the bucket and its object key. So let me run this. So the translator has begun. You will get a status also 0% complete or something. Okay, it's completed. Now we can view it.
Your Node-RED is creating the files locally, right? As once you get the reply, it creates the file locally.
No, it's sorry, I didn't get files locally.
So yeah, so this viewer page here, where is it getting the token from the Node-RED application?
Yes.
Ah, okay.
I'll show that. Come back. So we'll go back. We can see it. So this is a GET request. We have a template where we are building a viewer HTML. So we have something called force token, and this asks for a token endpoint, and that token endpoint we have written in the node here, force JPO over token. So you can also see what this.
So the Node-RED acts as a web server, right?
Yes.
So okay. Interesting.
Integrate the token. So you can, there is a node for this. We call it a HTTP node.
Okay. So can Node-RED be used to implement a server-side code that can then be called as API endpoints?
Yes. You can have it has WebSocket, HTTP and HTTP response. So you can do many things, and it also has a MQTT. This is more important. This is what this made Node-RED very famous among the IoT, where you can interact with sensors. So
yeah. So there is a question from Raja. Is it possible to add as a component in React applications?
Yes. We have people has already done that. We have, yes, there is a React library for Node-RED also. Using Node-RED, there is a React, yes. It's there. You will build a React UI. When this was started, React was not there at the time. Angular was popular, so they used most of the UI is built using Angular.
That's it. Just because of the time, any questions for Madhukar about Node-RED? And thank you, Madhukar, for the presentation. Very interesting. So just before we move to other questions, just any questions to Madhukar on the Node-RED? I think it's quite interesting that you can visually create your server and then use the endpoints to automate that. So that gives power to a non-coder to adjust the server, and then someone calling the server will get the responses that they edited, right? So it's quite interesting.
It uses Express in the background, so you can hook, you can do all these middleware things on the Node-RED also. Excellent.
So yeah, thank you, Madhukar. I know it's a bit late for you, so thanks for staying late and giving us this interesting demo. Najelko asked for the presentation. Thank you for bringing up the topic.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, and I see that Manuel Romero, you have a question about the showcase. Would you like to open your microphone? You are on mute. Okay.
Good afternoon, and thank you for your showcase. My question is not related directly for the showcase that is brought to us, but I also wanted to take advantage to this chance for talking directly with you and know about this point, if it's available or are you planning to include the Autodesk Forge document approved status for any API or something at your roadmap? Thank you.
So when you say document approval, you mean on BIM 360, the approval process? Yeah, okay. As I understand, that's not available on the API right now. I would say that the best way would be to review Mikako class on the on BIM 360. But as far as I know, it's not on the short-term roadmap. Hope I'm not getting this wrong, but yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right. Any other questions for today? We're just a bit over time.
I've got another prompter, Augusto. I can't resist.
Go ahead.
Anybody who's not looked at the Autodesk Forge roadmap for the coming year, there was a class at AU. You know, putting into chat right now. If you haven't looked at it, please do. And when you do, when you get to the area that's around Forge data, Forge Exchange, cloud information models, if you see something there that you have a real direct use case for, you know, let us know. We're going to expose some of this stuff to some private betas in the January, kind of February timeframe. And we're always looking for folks who kind of have a demanding need for granular data, and that have the ability to deal with something that's, you know, it's a private beta, which means it's a bit unstable and a bit incomplete, and the docs aren't totally there. But I think it'd be good if we can get a few more people kind of hands-on to help us get it right.
Yeah, thank you, Jim. I'm sharing the screen with the class you mentioned. Thank you. Okay, we are just a bit over time. Thank you for joining today. As usual, the next coffee break will be in 2 weeks. Same link, same time, December 1st. And I will be posting the recording on YouTube as usual. So yeah, thank you for joining. Yeah. Right. Thank you for joining today, and see you in 2 weeks.
Thanks,
Thank you very
Augusto.
much. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Obrigado.
Thank you all. Bye.